Invincible Season 4 gave us one of the most brutal fights in the series. You already know what I'm talking about. Mark and Conquest. But it also gave us a genuinely interesting question about Viltrumite biology that most people seem to be getting wrong. Because when Invincible choked Conquest to death, a lot of fans immediately pointed out that Viltrumites can hold their breath for absurdly long periods of time.
How do I breathe in space?
That's the neat thing. You don't.
We see them flying through the vacuum of space, between planets, so how could choking even work? So here's the assumption everybody makes. If Viltrumites can hold their breath for hours or days, then choking them out shouldn't work. But that's confusing two completely different biological systems. When Mark chokes Conquest, he cuts off the blood flow to his brain. It's not just about the oxygen in your lungs. Your brain stores almost no oxygen. It's constantly demanding fresh, oxygenated blood from your circulatory system. You can hold your breath for minutes, sure, but without blood flow to your brain, it starts losing consciousness in seconds. And before anyone brings up the fact that Mark knocked the wind out of him first, it doesn't matter. Once the blood flow is cut off, it doesn't even matter if the blood is oxygenated. The brain isn't getting it either way. So a Viltrumite's ability to hold their breath is almost irrelevant. Their lungs might be superhuman, but if their brain chemistry is anything like ours, they still need that constant delivery of oxygen-rich blood. Cut that off and they're going down regardless of how much air they have. So actually choking works fine as a kill method. Problem solved, right? Well, not quite. Because here's where it gets interesting. If a Viltrumite can hold their breath for 2 weeks on the same lung volume as a human, their cells must be consuming oxygen at an almost negligible rate compared to ours. And here's the thing about hey you, if you enjoy my content, it would mean the world if you subscribed. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers in order to monetize so I can keep making content like this. According to YouTube, 99% of my viewers aren't subscribed. Even if 1% of you subscribed, I could get monetized. So please, for me, here's the thing about breath holding. The brain can't be an exception. The human brain alone accounts for 20% of your total oxygen consumption. If a Viltrumite brain still ran at human efficiency, it would burn through that entire 2-week breath on its own in hours. So for the breath holding to even be possible, their brain has to be just as efficient as the rest of their body. Which means cutting off blood flow to a Viltrumite brain wouldn't drop oxygen levels anywhere near as fast as it would with a human. And that's where the math gets uncomfortable. The average human can hold their breath for about 2 minutes. 2 weeks is about 20,160 minutes. That's a ratio of over 10,000 times more efficiency. Now, if we apply this to choking, a human loses consciousness from blood flow restriction in about 10 seconds. Multiply that by 10,000 and you get 100,000 seconds. That's nearly 28 hours to choke a Viltrumite unconscious. Mark had to choke Conquest for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. By Viltrumite biology's own internal logic, Conquest should have barely even registered it. Now, maybe the show has an explanation for this. Maybe Viltrumite brains operate differently under stress, or maybe their cardiovascular system compensates in ways we can't account for. There's enough ambiguity in the lore where you could really argue it either way. But here's the thing. Even if we completely set aside the efficiency argument, we can't just give the show a full pass on everything. Ignoring how long the choke should have taken, choking someone unconscious and choking someone to death are two completely different things, and the scene treats them as the same moment. The actual moment Conquest's eyes roll back, the moment he loses consciousness, Mark stops choking him and rolls away. And Conquest is laying there, assumed dead. But that's the thing, unconsciousness and death aren't the same endpoint. When you pass out from blood flow restriction, your brain is oxygen starved, but it's not dead. You got minutes, maybe even longer for a Viltrumite. It seems like Mark only holds on for 5 to 6 seconds after Conquest passes out, unless something else killed them, maybe something like his neck breaking. So if Mark stopped choking Conquest the moment that he went limp, even 5 to 6 seconds after, Conquest shouldn't be dead. He should just be unconscious. And with his healing factor, it shouldn't take him long to wake up. But as always with these types of moments, it really does come down to plot and however the writers decide to take the story. But what do you guys think? Do you think a Viltrumite should be able to be choked out? Let me know in the comments.